Good morning. Um, Way before pre-market, way before market. In the forex, first and foremost, if you don't, if you're not in after hours, you're not in the forex. Then I don't know what you're basing your trades on. So, and I hate to come across as being like arrogant, but I found this to be a tool that I can't live without right now. Period. Ever again. Um, as you can see, there's variables here, basic variables. Either the dollar is rising or falling against other currencies, or other currencies are rising against the dollar. Okay, so that's X, Y, Z, W. If you've ever done wiring, any kind of electrical work pertaining to anything over 110, I'm talking about 220, 230, 240, same principle. Okay, so we have 6 currencies currently losing momentum against the dollar. And we have 7, 8, 9 that are currently gaining against the dollar. Only exception is USD Canadian, which is 0.01 hundredths in the negative, but it's gaining. It's actually that would be positive for that particular currency regime. So now we've covered X, W, Y, Z, and a sort of kind of linear configuration. Now we're going to cross or retriangulate these, right? So this is how I'm going to explain it. And I'm going to start from the top left hand corner. Euro USD. Obviously, these currency regimes are pegged a little bit more. They're more significantly pegged than a lot of other currencies because of the bond utilities that they use to transfer debt amongst themselves. But we're also talking, what I mean is time and space, right? The British pound USD, same thing. Very closely connected bond market. USD, Japanese yen, very closely connected because of the bond market. Speaking about BNDX, BNDW, adverse and inverse ETFs, derivatives, subprime. And then all the way at the bottom, we have New Zealand, the Mexican peso. But we really wouldn't need the Mexican peso might as well be a dollar derivative. The New Zealand dollar might as well be the Australian dollar. So we're going to move it up one more. USD NCY. That's renminbi. China has two currencies: one that they use inside the country, one that they use outside the country. USDCNH is what they use outside the country, and the dollar is losing momentum against that currency. The USD NOKI and get into that a little bit, and I don't want to because it really doesn't matter. Their markets are open. As you can see, that's Scandinavian. Oh, I was tripping on that. There's the krona. We can forget about that. Okay. One, two. So third row down is what we're concerned with. The Indian rupee, where our last big downturn started, was with the rupee. A lot of liquidity was pulled out of the market because of the coronavirus scare. The Indians are very well known for buying gold, or work for a lot of them. They're into buying a lot of gold. It's a cultural thing. So the app has done our work for us. And what I want to say is the Japanese markets are not open yet. And that's probably the only reason why they're not gaining against the dollar. Or the dollar is losing its momentum against the Japanese yen. We're going to figure that one out in a few minutes. Which one it is. We're not going to deal with Swiss franc. It's really not that huge. The Hong Kong dollar is not open yet. So what I'm saying is you're only getting a sneak peek into the next what's going to be at the end of market, at the next trading day. You're not going to find out really the reality of the monetization situation, the debt situation, until the end of trading in Asia. Right. So right now, my main indicator is going to be the Indian rupee. And actually, the market's shut down, so it can't be that. Okay, so we're eliminating what's important and what isn't. And that is the Euro USD and the pound sterling up against the dollar. What does that mean? Before I even go into what I'm about to show you, that means it's easier for them to invest in U.S. markets, bond, stocks, whatever. This is yesterday's trading. This Dow Jones, of course, we all know it was down like 328. course, everyone knows the S&P was down 28.19 hundredths, but the Nasdaq was up 38.85, 0.48. So how did I get a 6% gain on a down day like today? Or, sorry, a day like yesterday? Because I'm pegged to the bond market. That means most of my positions are in the Nasdaq, or most of my AUM is in the Nasdaq. Currently I do hold small positions in the Dow Jones and S&P, very small, meaning low cap stocks in volume. And that's how I propped up my positions. Is I didn't buy high cap stocks with low volume. I bought low cap stocks with high volume. I bought in the Nasdaq. I did the total opposite. I bought high cap stocks, low volume, because the bond market is pegged to the Nasdaq. The subprime bond market. It's exactly what they're stimulating. And I think there might even be some high yield stuff coming out of the Nasdaq. And that's how I totally supported a nice P&L yesterday. But I'm concerned about today. So let's continue on to watch this. And if you can go to the link and see all the details on my different picks. But once again, I'll just go through it again. I'm not holding any of these on A team. The B team, I'm holding DRV and Annually Capital. I'm holding both of these. In pre-market, what do we see? 12.19% gain in DRV. DRV New York Stock Exchange, small cap stock. I hold that in volume. Annually Capital. You know, same kind of story. New York Stock Exchange. Flowing through these things. Okay. HYG, BNDW, TLT, BNDX. That's your bond market, and it's totally drained, as you can see. What you're going to see is B in on the drain. They're ready to be bought up. The first one you're going to see in the positive, most definitely, is going to be the, let me think here, going down, adverse 1856 would be BNDX. Should light up first thing. BNDW should follow. HYG should be next. Then 20-year should be right there. I'm holding nothing there. Nasdaq was up yesterday. Out of all the markets, was the other one. usually does the same. When the market is doing what it does, everybody is on long-term volatility. So, period. The sentiment for the S&P is totally, unequivocally, all investors feel that it is going to be a lot of volatility for a long time. And as we can see, Euro USD and USD CNY. We're watching it gain against the dollar, as the dollar is, which I'm in the adverse dollar derivative ETF type deal. And it's at 99, so 99.18. So I mean, that's the story of the day right there. If the US dollar is at 99, how is the Euro USD gaining against it? How is the USD CNY renminbi gaining against it? My bet it is. They're doing everything they can do to keep the dollar from being so high, but yet and still, printing so much liquidity is hurting us, not helping us. Oil right now is still flat. The companies that deal with oil derivatives are selling at a premium. The Beast Valero is down, and LNG altogether is down. I'm in UDN right now, US dollar bearish, and it's looking good. What I'm doing right now is trying to calculate if I'm going to be on the right side of the trade, because I did start trading with unsettled funds. So I'm still locked in for a day until I can move. DocuSign is just a beast. I think this is where I'm going to strike. Which one, I'm not sure. So to summarize, bond market totally oversold. Just to keep the market from losing more than what it lost yesterday. Are they going to supercharge it today with liquidity? The answer is yes. they're getting ready for a big salvo. Currencies are rising, and in this case, since the dollar is at 99 and some change, other currencies are rising against the dollar. It's not the dollar dropping and those currencies rising. It's those currencies are rising against the ever inflated dollar. So expect today is going to it's going to be to the downside. Not big, but to the downside, at least 100 points. Or it's going to be to the upside, at least 200-300 points. Because the effect of how the liquidity moves, we're following the liquidity. So we're breaking it down to just a A-B choice. Which that's what it always is at the end of the day. You might have a third choice of just breaking even, midterm, flat. We're set for a super volatile day, no doubt. Um, and I have some liquidity. Today's payday, right? So I'm headed into silver mining companies at this point, and one other pick I want to. HDFC. China is buying huge blocks of HDFC Bank. It really has no velocity at this point, but I'm not concerned about that. What I'm mainly concerned with is once it starts picking up with velocity, that I have an ability to jump on it. 6.08 here. Annually capital. Maybe I'm holding it, but to reinforce that may not be smart because how much higher is it gonna go? Only time will tell when the market opens. We'll see. That Joker's racing to the moon. I'll jump on it. But right now, I bought it cheap enough, and I bought it at the end of market yesterday. So I might buy some at the beginning of market if it shows some right at the beginning open of market. I might reinforce my position if it shows some velocity to the upside. Aside from that, I'm all just checking out what's going on. It's going to be a lot of velocity. That's the truth. To the upside or downside, I'm kind of hoping to the downside because I'm stuck in some stuff for one more day. And I calculated that these 2 days, Monday, Tuesday, would be down days. So we'll see if I'm right or not. You know.